Welcome to another episode of Daily Gym. In today's episode, I wanted to talk a bit more about the power of networking and some of the surprise benefits that it can bring you that you don't think about initially. The first point being knowledge and skills. In terms of knowledge, I've always been an avid reader and I consume a lot of podcasts because I'm always on the lookout to get new knowledge and expand my knowledge base so that I can help even more people in my life. The last few weeks, however, I've talked and interviewed many different people, especially strangers that I hadn't met before, and I started realizing how efficient it is to obtain new knowledge by talking to people that are practitioners or experts in that field. The reason I say that is that when you start reading more and more books on the subject, at some point there are diminishing returns on your time. The same goes for paid courses or video or audio material that you can find online. Sure, setting a base foundation for knowledge in that particular field, it's good to read books and audio, and I'm not dismissing that those are not valuable sources of information, but you have to cut through so much noise and clutter to really extract the gems of knowledge out there that when you're talking with a practitioner, they generally have done that work for you. Of course, only extracting and taking information from a person that you just met is not really a nice thing to do, so it's always a bit of give and take, of course. In terms of skills, it means that you're obtaining knowledge, but it doesn't mean that you yourself have become a practitioner if you haven't actually put in the work to use that new knowledge. But when you're talking to another person who's looking for, let's say, a digital marketer or an SEO specialist or someone who's a scientist in a particular field, if that someone is in your network, you can actually extract or borrow that person's skills and connect that person in your network with the new person you're talking with, thereby still providing value to that person that you just met. This brings me to the second point, which is that what I've started realizing the last few weeks, as my network starts expanding and I start getting introduced and talking with people in many, many different industries or regions or specialties, that the more people I talk with, the more value I'm able to bring to them in a shorter amount of time. Well, before I might have to spend an hour talking to them, figuring out like what I can do for them, what they can do for me, trying to see how we can match up, and sometimes realizing that the skills simply don't match up. But now as my network starts expanding, I start to get to know more people. It becomes very easy to end a conversation after half an hour and say, I will hook you up with this one or two people and they will be able to help you further. And then following up with them a month later to see how everything went, or a few days later to see how everything went. Which brings me to the third point, is that as your network starts expanding, the skill set, the knowledge base, the value you can bring to other people starts increasing exponentially. So while initially I, at the end of the conversation, could hook up somebody with just simply one person, or that person could hook me up with one person in their network, I'm now able to start connecting people with 2 or 3 people in my network, thereby exponentially increasing the return on the time. Which is something that didn't really dawn on me until simply these last few days. And it's brought me a lot of energy to keep putting in this work and effort, not just with these videos so that more people can see it and that I can get connected to these people and bring even more value from the talks I have, but also simply talking with as many different people that I've never met before. That's all I have to say today about the power of networking. I hope it was useful to you. If you have any interesting stories to tell about networking, good things that you experienced, or things that were a bit difficult in the beginning, please let me know. I would love to know more about that. That's all for today. I'll be back with another episode tomorrow, and have a nice day, everyone.